Okay. Hi everybody. It's me again. It's Michele Follis, and just talking with people about the Access Consciousness bars and beyond the bars, but the bars and the contribution that this gorgeous, amazing, energetic process is to the world. There are so many dynamic people out there who use the bars and um, who just are out there inviting people to something different. And so here is Bettina Medina, and she's this.
Madini.
Oh, I was right, yeah.
Bettina Madini, yes, you're
I
right.
can spell. and Bettina is this amazing woman, and we've known each other for quite a few years now. She's like a silk painter. She's a singer. She's a best-selling author. She's a bars facilitator and a traveler, and just out there. Really, every time I see you, you're just have this beautiful, amazing, joyful energy, and I'm grateful for you. So how does it get better?
How does it? Thank you so much, Michele, for having me here.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. What is possible, right? With being on the planet.
What is possible with being on the planet? And we were talking a little bit before we started to record, and one of the things that came up that's so beautiful, that if you can invite yourself to just begin to play with this, and it's just really quite simple, but sometimes we tend to make things more difficult than they have to be. And imagine that, but that is, what if every single thing, every choice that we have made, either in this lifetime or past lives, has brought us to where we are in this moment right here? And what can we do or be in this moment right here to create something different?
Yeah, that's a great question. Like, what if we never did anything wrong? And we were just talking about this, where like how many of you are making you wrong for some choices that you made this lifetime? Or it might also be in a past lifetime, where there is this, do any of you have like an inert sense of wrongness of you, where you just feel wrong or you feel misplaced? And what if you are not wrong? What if you never did anything wrong? And what if you actually can never do anything wrong, but you choose? It was a choice. And that's really the beauty. We were just talking about this, when we come to awarenesses, or we if you have things from the past coming up that you maybe cannot let go of, or you feel so bad about, or you feel so wrong about, maybe give the bars a chance. Whenever I have things like this, or a bad hair day of some sort, it is amazing how the bars, I just get my bars run, and it changes everything. It's night and day. All of a sudden there is this space. And I still recall my first bar session that I received.
Ooh.
Yay!
Yay, tell us.
Yes, it was so beautiful. I heard about the bars and I was like, yeah, right, another thing. And how many of you have that, right? Where you have done everything underneath the sun. So I was like that, everything underneath the sun. And somebody told me about the bars, and I'm like, oh yeah, right. But it came back around and back around. So thank you to all these people who keep talking about it and nudging, like, us, right? Like they nudged me. So anyway, there was then an energy where I was actually looking for something. I was looking for where I had built these walls that I was aware of. I was aware of walls in my universe, and with all the different modalities that I did and tried out, I would get a sense of a peace for a moment, but then whenever I went back out into the world, there were these freaking walls again, these invisible walls, and I was looking for space. So, well, anyway, I got this bars session. I was curious. Oh, let's find out what that is. So a friend of mine ran my bars, and literally, I turned to her when she was done, and I said, wow, that space, that is the space I know, I have always known is possible, and I couldn't get to. And so, of course, now also I know that so many of the walls are not mine, that I was aware of. And so judgments are walls, and how much judgment is in the world. And when we are aware of them, and we usually then tend to think they are ours, and the bars melt all that. And I got space, a space that was so ease-filled. And I said to her, I want to know more about this. Where is there a class? And I just received so much more. And with every session, it's not just a one thing. Of course, you can do one bar session and that's okay. And you can get a lot out of it. Yet what else can you receive? What else is there, right?
Yeah. And thank you for saying that too, because one of the things, I've obviously run bars on quite a few people, and it's so interesting, and it always, not always, but a lot of times it comes back to people want that defined, that definition of what is this going to do for me, or wow, that felt great, and wow, and they want, and that's one of the things about bars and access consciousness actually in general, when you really start to use the tools and play with it, is that it is undefined. It's just something that, like you said, it invites you to this space that you've always sort of known, you've always known was possible, but you weren't able to get to. And that's one of the things that I love about it too. And also that willingness to that instant fix thing that some people want. And so it's such a contribution to keep going with the bars, to keep getting your bars run.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that too a little bit, about the repetition really of getting your bars run?
Yeah. And you know, the amazing thing is, it is not sort of like a repetition. Every single session is so different. I don't know how many, like hundreds and thousands. I don't count, right? But like more, like what if so much more is possible? And like, if you keep asking that question, if I receive another bar session, what will this create for me and for my body, for my life, for the earth? And just follow that. And you know, it is so interesting, how much are we defining change actually? What is change? And there are people, I run their bars and they will say, oh, nothing changed, right? Nothing happened, nothing changed. And it's okay. I will say, just let's just, are you willing to wait a little bit? Give it a little bit of time to see. And then also when I call them up and ask them, hey, how have you been? And what has actually changed? They will say, well, I just take an example here. My money account hasn't changed, but I have received a trip, like a friend invited me for a trip, and I can use their car, and then they gave me their second car. And so then it's like, okay, but have you received money? And like where people say they don't receive money, like the receiving things will not, when we change and we make more space for our being and for our choices and our possibilities, things will show up. Yet how much can we not receive and perceive and see even and notice when we have these definitions about what
Yeah.
has to show up and what has to change and how it has to change.
Yeah. The acknowledgement.
Yeah, and then even ask what has changed. Let's just look what has changed. And maybe it could be like, the beautiful thing about the bars is the relaxation and space that it creates for bodies.
Yeah.
That the space for your body. How many of you are not looking and checking in with your body?
Yeah.
And ask your body, hey body, would you like to have another bars session? Would you like to go to a bars class? Would you like to be a bars facilitator and facilitate these amazing classes for other bodies? Let's just take bodies into the computation, into our life, and ask our bodies questions. And I'm always amazed what one bar session changes and, let's say, creates for my body, that where I'm sinking into the massage table and it's like a very deep relaxation, and I come out of this with this sensation of being renewed.
Yeah.
Does this make any sense?
It does to me.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah, I'm
right.
Totally. Yeah, and I was talking to somebody the other day, and I mean, that it's that the reset button really is, you, after you have your bars run, it is like it's like, why? It's like you come back refreshed and renewed, and it's just like, okay, you know, and what else is possible. And it's one of the greatest gifts in my life and living. And what you were talking about in terms of our bodies, you know, some people, I was not always, and I've gotten better, but I was not always good about nurturing my body. Like asking my body, what would it enjoy? You know, would you like to be touched? Would you like a massage? Would you like, you know, to get your hair done and washed and touched, and just all of those things? You know, would you like a manicure or a pedicure, or to sleep a few more hours, or not, or to run, or to jump, or to hike, or to have your bars run? Meaning, just one of the things for me that shows up when I know that a bar session is almost past due is when I just feel so full up in my head. And it's not necessarily that I'm thinking a lot, it could be that, but it just is this fullness. It's more like just this fullness in my head where, you know, sometimes when you just can't, it's like you have to walk away from your computer because you can't do what you're doing anymore. You can't, it's almost like that sort of feeling is the way I would describe it for people. And then I'll just go and get my bars run, and voila, sis boo ba. It's like, here I am.
Yeah, she's back. Yeah, right. And
yeah,
and the nurturing of that. And I love what you said. It's like truly what ease is possible with being here, with everything. Like, what if we can have ease with the unpleasant moments, you know, where we don't have to go into the drama and trauma of it, but we can, while it is not pleasant and while it is maybe not the greatest surprise, we still can have the ease with it, and also the clarity, and make choices from space, not from, you know, when the head is so tight and tiny. And I get exactly what you were saying. For me, it's almost like I'm like, you know, when the ship planks are cranking, it's like, this is how it feels then. in my head, and then my body says bars, bars, bars. And you cannot, you were asking about this repeat. Just if we for a moment, for anybody who's watching, if we just like now tap into like, how many of those can you receive? How many bar sessions? Is there a limit, or is there a possibility? And what does your body say about that? Right?
Yeah.
Like for massage sessions, for instance, is there a limit where maybe after 3 hours of massage, you don't want to lie there anymore, but then maybe your body wants to go back in a week or in a month? Or when we start asking our body, there you also will get the awareness of what can really create dynamic changes in every areas of your life. Not coming from, oh, I have a money problem, I must do a money class, which like is a conclusion. Maybe you don't have a money problem. What if you even have no problem? But what if there are actually areas in your life that you have created for whatever reason? We cannot go into this right now, but when we don't do this linear thing and the definition of everything, oh, I have A, so I must do B. No, when we ask a question, hey, what would actually change this? And all of a sudden you get a call from somebody and they talk about the bars or whatever, maybe ask a question. Wow, what would it create for me if I received a bar session now? And things literally, I have people that they I run bars and areas change that they would have never come up with, oh, this will change when I get a bar session. It's like the lightness of the lightness and the lightness of joy when you follow that. And when something comes up and it's like, oh yeah, cool, let's do that. What this can create for you. And bars can basically change anything and everything. Like for me, it changed things with my body, totally, like amazing. And oh my gosh, can I even say what it changed? Michele, what is so funny? When we change, we will not recall anymore what it was before. And how easy is it then to throw the baby out with the bathwater and say, it didn't create anything for me. But if we just pause for a moment and look at, hey, okay, let's just look at it, which we usually don't do. How was my life 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago? And how is it now? How different am I? If we just for a moment look at that. Also that acknowledgement. And what can you choose today that will create possibilities for you that you don't even know right now you have?
Yeah.
Right?
Thank you. Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you.
Michele, had you asked me, let's say 8 years ago, had you asked me, oh, Bettina, would you, or you would have told me you would be the future, the reader of the future. Oh, Bettina, in 8 years, you will be a facilitator, you will be best-selling author, and you will paint and do all these classes, and you will also perform and sing. And it's like, oh yeah, right. Okay, that's you are Michele, you are a very bad psychic. This is freaking like nuts. I ain't gonna do that, this is impossible. And yet, when I look at now how it's all really ease-filled, where in the past I would have had like nervous breakdowns or so, being, oh my God, stressed, overloaded or whatever. And I don't have this anymore. Stress and overload, oh, this is too much. There is simply the ease of choice. And also, oh, you guys, you don't have an idea yet what you can create. Literally, let me tell you, because I had no idea what I can create and what is possible. This is just a space that I can just really say the bars, if you are willing to receive that and have that for you, wow, start running bars and see what it creates for you. You don't have to. There are other modalities, of course. Don't get me wrong here. I can just say it created an ease and so much more joy for me. And I'm really asking every day, what else truly is possible? What did I come here on the planet to create? And really, when we ask, what do you know is possible? What do you know? Really, what do you know? And yeah, just that.
Thank you, Bettina. That was beautiful. I mean, that you just summed it up right there. And in closing, one of the things that you said, which I have too in my life, is no matter what is going on, there is an ease to it. There is a level of ease to it that is truly inexplicable. No matter what is going on, because things show up that are uncomfortable, that are quote unquote not pleasant, that are things we would rather not have show up at times. But there's a level of ease that I'm so grateful for, that it's the bars and the tools of access consciousness, for sure. It's the combination, but that allows me to be that all the time, this level of ease. And that's something I would never trade or give up, because it allows you to just keep choosing forward. At least for me.
Yeah.
So thank you.
You're
Amazing
welcome.
one. Yeah. Yay. Amazing. Yeah. And Bettina, do you have a website that you want to tell people about or anything? I mean,
yeah, there's my website, bettinamadini.com. And I also have a page on the Access Consciousness website. You find me and the classes that I facilitate. I'm so grateful for these classes. Wow, it's amazing. Yeah, that's it. On bettinamadini.com, you find a lot of things, what I'm doing. So
cool.
All that stuff. Yay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
And if you want to find out more about the bars, and Bettina, you're up in Wisconsin, right? Are you in Wisconsin? Yes. Okay, cool. So so if you'd like to find out more about the bars or classes happening near you, or trades, or all kinds of goodness and anything having to do with Access Consciousness, you can go to accessconsciousness.com. And have a beautiful day.
Thank you. You too. Thank you.
Bye.